I grew up in Toronto. My first, a little more than the first decade was spent in Parkdale, the inner city. My parents were doing everything possible to make life better for me and my brother. Blue collar labor, cleaning houses, working in warehouses, working in factories. But I do remember after first year university, I was going to drop out. I said to my dad, you know what, I can make more money working in a factory, maybe running a warehouse one day, which is, noble work. He said, but you're not going to do that. That was a turning point in life. After I did that, that was one of the hardest jobs I've ever done in my life. I went back to school. I started my first job at CIBC in April of 1985. I was a CSR, customer service representative, more commonly known as a teller, in a branch in Mississauga, the branch that my parents banked at. And my father said to me, they're looking for somebody. Why don't you apply? It was my first job in an office environment. There were immigrants from all walks of life in the community that we lived in. It was a saving culture. And that to me was very eye-opening. And to this day, I think that banking is best understood through the wicket. One of the experiences as a young teller at CIBC was one individual who came in every week. He had his own tool and die business, and he was of Croatian descent. So he always wanted to wait in line for me. Every week he'd come in and we'd exchange niceties, and he'd have a $450 check because he had his own company. He cut it for himself. Talked to me a little bit in Croatian, a little bit in English, and at the end of it, he'd say $50 cash and $400 deposit. And we did that for 3 years. I didn't see him for 28 years. I saw him at a Canadian-Croatian Chamber of Commerce event after I became CEO of the bank. And he looked at me and he goes, Dodig, $50 cash, and I said $400 deposit. And that to me reflects what banking is all about. Knowing clients at a very human level, having those memories that are enduring. I mean, a 3-decade memory of deposit transactions, but it wasn't just that. It was the interaction we had every week about life. And that is a big deal for me. It's a big deal. The other big deal for me outside of business is just, being fortunate enough to have the family I have. My spouse, Maureen. We have 4 amazing kids who also give back. We've taught them that giving back is important. And that is, to me, a dividend that has more value than dollars. My late father, escaped in 1959 from communism and went to Italy and spent 2 years in UN refugee camps in 3 different cities. In fact, there's a chronology that I found in his bedside drawer after he passed away where he documented his journey. He documented his arrival in Halifax. You can see it. He documented his first job where his wage was $1.10 an hour, and then how his wages went up to just over $2 an hour in a span of 2 years. Within that period, he was laid off. He documented that as well. This chronology that he saved kind of really reflected the hardship of life, but also optimism and opportunity and perseverance. Life's not a race. It's a bit of a marathon. And if you can learn from others and live in the moment and really truly understand what you love doing and pursue that will be likely the path that will serve you better in life.